Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you're a homeowner, you definitely know the exact sinking feeling, and let's be honest, that awful smell of watching water slowly pool up in your sink or completely back up into your shower. The stress is absolutely universal. You just want it fixed, right? And immediately you're wondering, how much is this going to cost me? We all crave a simple, straightforward price tag, but trying to get a straight answer over the phone can honestly feel like pulling teeth. Well, today we are pulling back the curtain on exactly how plumbing companies price out these jobs right here in Illinois. Which brings us to a question that frustrates so many of us. Why is it so incredibly hard to just get a flat fee? It makes total sense to want a guaranteed price before a truck even pulls into your driveway. But the reality is, most plumbing pricing in Illinois fundamentally requires an on-site technician. Why? Because until they physically look down that drain, they literally cannot confirm the real culprit. What looks like a simple surface backup could actually be a massive, hidden issue buried deep down the line. So here is our Consumer Insider roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the baseline cleaning cost. Then, we'll compare different drain cleaning methods. Uncover those sneaky, hidden cost variables. Break down the true value of camera inspections. And finally, show you exactly how to get an accurate quote. All right, let's dive straight into Section 1, the baseline cleaning cost.
To kick things off, we really need a baseline for a typical Illinois household, just so you know if a quote is even in the right ballpark. And here it is. You're looking at anywhere from $120 to $350. For most standard residential jobs, this is exactly the range you should expect to see on your bill. It's a really great anchor for your expectations.
But keep in mind that baseline is truly just a starting point. Final pricing only happens after the technician actually completes their inspection. If it's just basic, routine maintenance, you'll likely be on the lower end of that scale. But the second the tech discovers a complex problem that demands specialized equipment or maybe even repeated visits, well, that price tag naturally starts climbing. Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, comparing drain cleaning methods. You see, the specific tool your plumber pulls out of their truck has a massive impact on your final bill. For a minor clog, a basic drain snaking usually runs between $90 and $200. But if they need to run a camera down there to see what's really going on, that's going to be $150 to $450. Need heavy-duty cleaning with high-pressure hydrojetting? That jumps from $250 to over $600. Main sewer line services are also super intensive, ranging from $200 to over $800. And don't forget the logistics. If you're living in a multi-story building or have really difficult access to the pipes, expect to pay an extra $50 to $200 just for that added labor. Now, let's unpack Section 3. Hidden cost variables. The price you ultimately pay almost always reflects a lot more than just the clog itself. We have to look at the invisible factors that can heavily inflate that baseline price we talked about. Things like the location of the clog. The further down the pipe the blockage is, the more time and cable it takes to reach it. Then there's severity. Clearing out hair and grease requires entirely different tools than, say, busting through a collapsed pipe. Access and building layout totally matter too. If a plumber is squeezing into tight utility spaces, that adds to the bill. And of course, the specific cleaning method they have to use changes the whole shebang. Just to put this into perspective, imagine a basic kitchen sink stoppage. That's typically a really simple, quick fix using standard snaking tools. Now contrast that with a main sewer line completely choked by invasive tree roots or years of heavy grease buildup. That is a complex, labor-intensive disaster that requires highly specialized tools. The gap between those two scenarios is exactly where those hidden variables show up on your invoice. Moving right along to Section 4, the value of camera inspections. So, if a plumber tells you that you have a major issue, they'll very often recommend putting a video camera down the line. And honestly, it is completely natural to be a little skeptical of this pricey recommendation. Why pay hundreds of dollars just to have someone look at the problem? Isn't their job to just fix it? Well, let's talk about when that upfront investment is absolutely worth it. The single biggest reason? It completely eliminates guesswork. Paying up front for an inspection stops the plumber from just poking around in the dark, hoping they hit the snag. It clearly identifies exactly what you're dealing with. Is it just a clump of temporary debris, or are you actually facing major structural issues like a collapsed pipe or thick tree roots? Knowing this before they start running heavy equipment down your drains can literally save you thousands in the long run. Furthermore, a camera inspection drastically improves your odds of getting a lasting fix. If your drain is backing up every few months, you really don't want to keep paying for a temporary snaking band-aid. Actually seeing what's wrong guarantees that the solution matches the actual problem before you commit to costly high-pressure cleaning or ripping up your yard for larger repairs.
Finally, we've reached Section 5, Getting an Accurate Quote. So, how do we actually use all this knowledge to protect our wallets? Well, before you agree to anything, you absolutely must watch out for common add-on charges. A lot of companies charge a basic diagnostic fee just to park their truck in your driveway. And if you call them at night or on the weekend, get ready for those emergency rates to spike your bill. If your clog caused some flooding, you might also get billed for restoration and cleanup work. And if the pipe itself turns out to be damaged, you're looking at repairs that go way beyond a standard cleaning. Just knowing these fees exist means you won't be totally blindsided when you get the itemized bill. To lock in an accurate quote before any physical work even begins, you'll want to follow this exact checklist. Step 1, ask what method they plan to use initially. Is it snaking, a camera, or jetting? Step 2, check if there's a minimum service fee just for showing up. Step 3, demand a written estimate immediately after their diagnosis, before the real work begins. Step 4, if it's a mainline issue, confirm they have easy access to a cleanout because that saves on labor time. And step 5, always ask about the warranty on their work. But remember, communication is a two-way street. To get the best price, you need to describe your symptoms accurately right off the bat. Is it just a slow drain, or is it a total, complete blockage? Are multiple fixtures acting up? Like maybe the shower backs up when you flush the toilet? Do you hear weird gurgling sounds? Providing these highly specific symptoms up front helps the plumber choose the most cost-effective approach right out of the gate. It saves everybody time, and it saves you money. So, what is our ultimate takeaway from this explainer? You should absolutely expect to pay somewhere in that $120 to $350 range for typical residential clogs here in Illinois. But to make sure your bill actually stays in that safe zone, you've got to be a savvy consumer. Come prepared with your exact symptoms and hold the technician accountable by asking the right questions from the start. I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you equipped with the right questions to avoid costly surprises on your next quote? The next time that sink starts to bubble and back up, take a deep breath, grab your checklist, and take control of your home maintenance. You now know exactly how the pricing works behind the scenes. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and we will see you next time.